back to Southern Cooking with Val. So today we about to cook some bomb hamburger steaks. I don't know about you, but I love hamburger steaks. It's like a simple, easy dish. You can cook some rice to go with it, some type of green, and bam, you got a delicious dinner. So if you want to find out how to make some delicious hamburger steak, then stay tuned and let's get into the video. Okay, so the ingredients that we're gonna need for our hamburger steak is, of course, some ground beef, some portobello mushrooms. I've already sliced them along with some onions, some bell pepper, and a little bit of minced garlic. We're gonna need that. You're gonna need your seasonings for the ground beef. So the Nature's Blend, Lowry seasoning, some pepper. And then for the gravy, I like to use some of the browning and seasoning and also some of the Better Than Bouillon, because I'm gonna put this in the gravy, and I'm also gonna put a little bit in this beef to get it spruced up, so it can be delicious. That's all you need, a few simple ingredients. And if you don't have cornstarch, you can use flour instead. You can make a flour slurry instead of a cornstarch slurry, and that's basically just cornstarch and water or flour and water. It does the same thing. It's just used to thicken the gravy or whatever. I mean, you can also do the old school way, which I do that sometimes, but it takes way longer when you make the entire gravy like from scratch. Basically just like putting the like frying the flour, and then it's like a whole I can't even talk. That's how much I don't want to do it. It's a whole process. It takes a while. This is much quicker. Cornstarch is much easier and quicker, and it tastes just the same. But anyway, so let's get into this. I'm going to take this out and season it with my seasonings. I'm going to put a little bit of that beef base in there and patty up these sandwiches. Like I said, I've already taken care of some of the work because I already now sliced up the veggies that we need to go in the gravy and stuff, to give all of this some good flavor or whatever. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with seasoning the meat and pattying it up. Okay, so the patties are ready. I made 4 large patties. You can make them smaller if you want. Don't be alarmed by like the brown parts. That's just some of the actual beef base that I put in there. And so I got my pan on medium high. I kind of got like a fatty packet of meat because it's 80-20, so I don't need to put any oil, but I do like to spray just a tiny little bit of canola oil on it so it don't stick right there, since I'm not going to put anything. And then I'll just go ahead and put them in the pan. Dang. Yeah, and you want to hear that sizzle. That's a good sound. Toss them in there. Let them do their thing. Cook away. Get good and brown. I guess I didn't put in a good ratio of space. Okay. That last one. So we're gonna just let those brown. And I like mine to get kind of dark. Just to like a little seared on each side. And then we'll flip it and then do the gravy. Okay, so I forgot to show you exactly what I did. I'm sorry. But all I did was add water to the beef stock, and then I added like a little tablespoon of the browning seasoning to it for the gravy. And so a way that I know if I have enough beef stock or if I have too much beef stock, because you don't want it to be salty, because this Better Than Bouillon can get salty. What I'll do is I literally just get like a little spoonful, dip my finger. Like once I get some out of the spoonful, dip my like finger in it. Taste it. If it's too salty, you need to add some more water. If it's not salty enough, or if it don't taste like beef enough or the flavor that you really want, then I'll add a little bit more of the Better Than Bouillon to it. And then we're also going to get another cup, and we're going to do like the cornstarch flurry that I was talking about, which is basically just cornstarch and water to thicken up this gravy, since we're doing the quick version. Okay, so I have a little bit of the cornstarch in here. I'm going to add a little bit of cold water to it and then mix it up. Make sure you add cold water to cornstarch, and make sure you add warm to hot water to the beef bouillon, or Better Than beef bouillon, so it can dissolve easily. If you got really super hot water, or as hot as your faucet can get it, that's better. And you need cool water for this one. Okay, so I flipped the burgers, and you can see that nice sear. That's the sear that I want, that I'm talking about. Yeah. So I removed the burgers out of the pan. I cooked them on both sides. And so here's the pan. I still have a little bit of the grease left. Most of it I drained off. And you have the bits and pieces, you know, from the bottom from it searing. But that's all good. This is the part where I was saying, if you wanted to do it the old school way, you could throw some gravy in here. Throw some gravy. Throw some flour in here to make the gravy. But I ain't doing it that way today because I don't have that time for that. So what I'm going to do, because I'm hungry, I'm ready to eat now. So a quicker way is I'm going to go ahead and saute these vegetables in that grease and stuff that's left. I'm going to pour everything in here except for the, hard for me to do it with one hand. Everything is going in there except for the garlic. I'll throw that in there in a little bit. Okay, and remember before you start sauteing your veggies and stuff to turn your heat down. Like, turn your heat down on your stove. Because I had it at 7, which is like medium high. Now I have it on just medium. It's on 5. Because if you put it in there right at 7, when that pan is scorching hot, you're going to burn your veggies. And we don't want to do that. We don't want them burned. You know, we want the little char flavor that's already in the pan, but we don't want to burn. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of salt, just a little bit. Because we already got seasoning on the burgers. And we got seasoning in the beef broth that we're going to make the gravy with. But just a little bit to bring out the flavors even more of the onions and the mushrooms and the bell peppers. So let's do that. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This joint smells so freaking good. But when you cook it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It smells divine. And of course, you can add as much veggies that you want. I don't have that much because, I don't know, I don't really, my main thing is the meat. But I love the flavor that this gives it. So we're not going to cook it that long. Maybe like 2-3 minutes. Then we go ahead and toss in the gravy that we made earlier, the stock. And along with that stock, we can, I'm going to turn the eye up some, back to 7. And I'm going to add in the, oh, I got to mix it back up. Okay, note to self. It'll be good if you mix up your cornstarch right before you use it instead of letting it sit like I just did. But it's all good. If you do it ahead of time, all you got to do is mix it back up. And we're going to add the cornstarch in there because that's what's going to actually thicken up this gravy. And another way, like I said, if you don't have cornstarch, then you can use flour and water. Like, that's a quicker way. But the old school way that I was talking about, you'll actually fry. Not fry, but yeah, fry the gravy. Why do I keep saying gravy? Fry the flour to get rid of that flour taste and that grease from the burgers, because that's how you get the brown coloring and everything. And that way it's good too, but that takes time. It takes time. You got to really babysit the pan because you don't want no clumpy gravy or anything. This is much quicker. It's like, okay, you just let it be and it's going to thicken up itself. And if it doesn't thicken up enough, then I'll add more cornstarch to it. Just let it boil and it's going to start thickening. And once that happens, you can already tell a little bit that it's starting to thicken. Once that happens and it's to the consistency that I like, then I'm going to add the burgers back in there, or the hamburger steaks. Not burgers, because we're making it sophisticated. It's not just regular burgers now. But we're going to add it back in here so it can cook it the rest of the way through and soak up all this goodness, all these good juices for this gravy that we're going to put. I'm going to put it over rice. I mean, you don't have to eat rice, but I love rice. I eat rice with everything, so... Okay, so you see how that's bubbling up and how thick that is? That's like the consistency I want. Because I like thick gravy. And I added just a little bit more pepper and seasoning salt just to get it how I want it. But again, you don't want to have it too salty. And if you don't have that beef browning, I meant to say that earlier, you don't have to use it. Because I don't always use that. I just happen to have it in my cabinet. So I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So what I like to do is just kind of like clear a little space. Well, not really clear a little space, but move some of the vegetables like out of the way so I can go ahead and start placing the meat back in the pot. And then I'm going to cover the meat with the gravy, make sure that all of the patties are covered in the meat. In the meat. I can't talk today. What's going on? Make sure all of the meat is covered in the gravy. And then we're gonna cover it up and let it simmer just for like 10 minutes. So the beef can finish cooking all the way, and so it can soak up all the flavor of the gravy. And like I said, you can make the gravy as thick or as thin as you like. It just depends on you. So I'm turning that to low. I can almost turn it off, but I'm gonna turn it to low, and I'm going to go ahead and cover it up and let it sit on low, and then I'll keep coming back like every 2 to 3 minutes, just making sure that the gravy is covering the meat. Okay, so it's been simmering for a few minutes, probably about 4 to 5 minutes. And like I said, I just like to come back and make sure that it's all covered in the gravy. Just keep basting it. And if your gravy gets a little too thick, you can add a little bit of water. I did that off of camera. So I added just a little bit of water to mine because it was getting a little too thick and I wasn't going to have enough. So, yeah, that's the way. If your gravy ends up getting too thick, you can just add a little bit of water to it and it'll thin it out some more. And if you want it to be even thicker, like, oh, you accidentally add too much, then just leave it alone and let it simmer, and it should thicken up on its own. But if you just, like, went overboard and added way too much, then you add just a tiny little bit more cornstarch to it. Okay, so these are done, and we can plate them up. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yummy, yummy deliciousness. Hamburger steaks with mushrooms and peppers. Ooh-wee! This is some good eating. I'm telling you, this is some good eating. Now, when I tell you I can't wait to eat this, whoo, I cannot wait. Let's see. You gotta try it. So delicious. And like I said, I like to eat mine with rice. And I got some fresh string beans. Delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please comment down below and subscribe and like the video and come back. Come back, come back, come back and cook some more things with me. I mean, because we gotta eat, right? So you might as well come back and cook with me then. All right.